us, secrets that we know, doors that open for us in a moment. Keeping the light on, righting our old wrongs, keeping our sights on everything we want. We catch our breath in the middle of it all, chasing echoes. Sun is kind of.
Alright, so with the City Pass, you do get to go to the Space Needle once in the daytime and once at night. So we are going to check out the Space Needle at night. It's about 9:30, almost a full moon out tonight. You can see Mount Rainier out there. I'm not sure if it's still going to be visible once we get up there because it is getting dark. But we're going to check out the Space Needle at night.
So day 3 here in Seattle, part of our City Pass was a harbor cruise, and so today we're going to be taking the harbor cruise, and I think you get to see the skyline, and it just takes you through the harbor, and they do like a narrative as you're on the boat, so it's about an hour long, so we're going to check it out and see how cool it is. I'm just going to let her go. So the lady told me that I had to go backwards down the ramp with Callie for safety purposes. I feel like this is less safe, me walking backwards down the ramp than walking forward down the ramp.
And darling, I'm bleeding, and your love killing. I show you love. I thought that you believed in me, but I don't trust you. I don't trust you. I don't trust you. Guess that you believed in me, but I don't trust you. I don't trust you. I don't trust you. Guess that you believed in me.
If you've ever had
Alright, day 4 in Seattle, and as you can see, we are at CenturyLink Field, which is home to the Seattle Seahawks and the Seattle Sounders football club there. And I'm greatly looking forward to this. Of all the things in Seattle, for whatever reason, this has been one of my top things I wanted to do, was tour the CenturyLink Field where the Seahawks play. I've just always loved this stadium. I think it's a cool design. It's awesome that when Beast Mode ran for his touchdown a few years ago, that there was so loud that had an earthquake registered on the Richter scale here because the stadium was so loud. So today what we're going to do is tour the stadium. Now, I'm a diehard Steelers fan, have been for a long time since I was a little kid. So I do have a little act of disobedience here. Let me show you. I've got my Steelers socks on, so I'm ready to enter in CenturyLink Field. Maybe they won't hold too much hard feelings because in 2006, the Steelers did beat the Seattle Seahawks in the Super Bowl for Super Bowl XL. Jerome Bettis' last year for the Steelers. And so maybe they're not harboring too much hard feelings, but we're going to check out the tour today. Should be pretty awesome. This piece of artwork has every high school football team's helmet, starting from the west on the left side there, moving towards the east on the right side there. As we began the tour and started into the press room, they informed us that we were no longer allowed to video and it only could take still pictures for the remainder of our tour. This is the actual podium and press room where they do the post-game conferences where Pete Carroll and some of the players will talk post-game, and I'm just there so I don't get fined. As we come out and go down the hallway, they have the Wall of Legends where many of the greats of Seattle football play. And then we come to my favorite one, which is Son Alexander, one of the best running backs to ever come out of the University of Alabama. Next, we came to the players' locker room, which we weren't allowed in, understandably so for security reasons. In this hallway, it leads straight out to the field. And on this beautiful field, they have a turf, kind of that new turf that has the rubber under it. And you can see me and my beautiful wife standing on the field there at CenturyLink Field. Next, we head upstairs to one of the luxury boxes here, which has one of the greatest views in the house. As you can see, Callie is trying to get her a picture of the wonderful field and the great view. We headed around and up to the Toyota Tundra Zone, which is where they raise the flag for the 12th man. People can come during the game and check out the view from up there. Also, at the end of the year, they do give away that Tundra. The view from up here is spectacular, and I did have to break the rules and video just a little bit from the top. And for the final few areas we came to, we did get to check out the box where Monday Night Football or any of the main football broadcasts are from. It has an absolutely spectacular view of the field, probably the best seat in the house. We got to see the writers' room where sports writers sit during the game. They said that there's no audio being done during the game. They just get to watch the video and write what comes to their minds. They also have the Super Bowl Roman numerals that were on the side of MetLife Field whenever they won the Super Bowl. They've got them proudly displayed in the concourse. Well, we just finished up our tour of CenturyLink Field. It was really interesting. It's about 90 minutes long. I couldn't video in there. They said it's against the rules to video, so that's why we had the narrated pictures there instead of the video. But it was really awesome. The only thing that was negative, they did complain about the Super Bowl they lost 2006 to the Steelers, blamed it on the calls, which that's baloney. The Steelers just worked them to win Super Bowl XL. But I really love the tour. It's a cool stadium, worth visiting. I think it's like $14 for adults to tour the stadium. Definitely worth the money. We're going to do more on our trip. We're going to be going to Lambeau Field on the way back home. So we're going to take a tour there, so be looking out for that one. I would really like to hit up the Steelers Stadium this year at some point, see if I can do a tour of it. So we'll see if we can do that. But if you're in the Seattle area, it's not very expensive, not very long, and definitely worth the trip out here, especially if you're a sports fan like we are. All right, so we are headed back out tonight. The way we have been traveling on our trip, sorry, I gotta lock up here. The way that we have been traveling on our trip is that we will go out in the mornings and then see what we want to see, kind of get out by 9:30 or 10, and then we are going to get back out later that night. So what we do in the middle is we take naps. Callie obviously is a creature of habit, gotta have a nap. But what that has meant is that the rest of us have been taking naps as well. Even this lady right here has been enjoying, don't she look prettier? She's been enjoying her beauty sleep.
I've been watching Riverdale. I've not been napping.
She's been napping. Don't let her pretend you here. And I think the in-laws are enjoying the nap time as well.
It's awesome.
I think basically what's happened is that whenever they go back to the real world, they're leaving here in a couple days. When they get back into the real world, they're going to have a culture shock, not getting their afternoon siesta every day. So we took our naps, we got rested up, we're headed back out to Seattle tonight. We're going to go get some oysters. Not me. Oysters remind me too much of like a booger or something, but they like oysters, so we're going out to get some oysters tonight, get out to eat, and rest up for an eventful day tomorrow.
So Dad has been wanting oysters, which when I say oysters, like raw, slimy booger oysters, since he got here. And so tonight we were taking him out to get him some oysters. I asked somebody what's the best place to come to get some seafood. Ivers is what they told me. We got here, Dad ordered his oysters, and a few minutes later we realized that they are not the slimy booger oysters, they are the fried oysters, and the look on his face was pure disappointment. It is literally the saddest thing ever.
This is what disappointment looks like.
So we'll have to take him tomorrow night and find him some raw booger oysters because these fried oysters just aren't going to cut it.
All right, so at Ivers, where we're eating at, they actually encourage you to feed the seagulls. So we're gonna try to feed the seagulls. I don't know how this is gonna go with Callie, but we're about to find out. Hold it up, hold it up. Here. Hold it. She said thank you.
Thank you.
You want to do it? Do you like it? After the fiasco that was the non-raw oysters, we're now going to a local donut shop. So check this awesome place out. I think now I can make Tommy maybe a little bit happier with some donuts. Make up for it.
Go down.
Is it good? Good. What are you eating?
Eat
What is it?
donut.
Donut. You tell Pop thank you.
Thank you.
Video in a second. Look, we've eaten a lot of donuts on this trip. I'm not gonna lie. We've eaten way more donuts than we probably have in years past combined on this trip. Gone to some very good local places in Portland and some other donut places along the way. It is still really hard to beat a Krispy Kreme donut. Don't know what it is. I don't know if they're putting crack cocaine in them or what to make it so addicting, but it's kind of hard to beat a Krispy Kreme donut. All right, Tommy and Maria did want me to give a PSA here that they don't just eat donuts and take naps all day, every day. This is vacation week for them, so I think they are living it up with the naps every day and the donuts. So you guys don't get the impression that all we do is eat and sleep, but that's probably a pretty good, accurate representation of me in Sydney the last few weeks. Hey, it's day 5 here in Seattle. You can see behind me the Museum of Pop Culture. We're going to be spending some time in there today. They call it Mopop. It's down here in City Center. It's literally right at the base of the Space Needle. We're going to check it out. They're supposed to have a lot of cool guitars, other kind of memorabilia from modern pop culture. This is really our last touring day. We're going to be here tomorrow. We got to drop Tommy and Maria off at the airport, kind of get our stuff together and leaving the day after tomorrow. But today's really our last day sightseeing in Seattle. So kind of a little bittersweet. This is our last day out and about, but we're going to check out the Pop Culture Museum and see what it's all about.
So we just got finished with the Pop Culture Museum and it was kind of disappointing, kind of boring, not too much to do. Callie, there was nothing for her to do there really at all. There was a couple cool things like guitars and stuff like that, but I definitely wouldn't have paid $30 to do it. It came with our city pass, so that's the reason we did it. it just wasn't as cool as we expected it to be. There's a whole Marvel section upstairs that you don't even get to do with the museum. You have to pay $8 extra per person to do it. That probably would have been cool, but I mean, we weren't paying $8 extra per person to do it, so we didn't do that part. I mean, we've seen cooler stuff here in Seattle. It was just disappointing. Don't lie, and then she started saying pop, 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 pop. Look what we found. We found Meredith Grey's house from Grey's Anatomy. There it is. It's where Meredith Grey lives. Yay!